fight. Trying to see where this life take me, so I roll the dice. Look up to no one else, but yeah, I was shy. I got real power, Hebrew Israelite.
Right, Cyrus chapter 43 verse 3, we're going to pick it up with the class. Right, it's a lot of spirits out, demons, right, uproars, tumults. So let's bring this out, because, hey, no matter what, the word of the Lord going to come out and it's going to have free course. Right, the Lord willing, we edify the sheep. All right, read.
This book is say, right, chapter 43 and verse 30.
Right.
When ye glorify the Lord.
What?
When ye glorify the Lord.
That again?
When ye glorify the Lord.
When ye glorify the Lord, read.
Exalt him as much as ye can.
No, but it's called.
Exalt him as much as he
It's
can.
demon.
Exalt him
as much as he can.
So the Lord said exalt him as much as he can.
Right.
Meaning what? Through the affliction, right? Through scoffers, through the weather, right? No matter what, through different spirits, the Lord said exalt him as much as you can.
That's right.
And through that, you get that faith, you get that, that's like that endurance. Like in the book of 1 Peter chapter 1, and start at verse number 3. 1 Peter chapter 1 and verse 3. Finish this up.
Bring it out.
For even yet will he far exceed. And when ye exalt him, put forth all your strength.
Do what?
Put forth all your strength.
Put forth all your strength, read.
And be not weary.
Right.
For ye can never go far enough.
That's plain for you can never go far enough.
That's right.
And the part of serving the Lord, coming into this truth, is give me Galatians 5:22. Right? It's practicing the fruits, practicing the things that brothers really don't consider. Right? A lot of brothers, when they come into this truth, they look at the clout, they look at the views, the subscribe count, they look at brothers shaking their hand all day. But what brothers is actually coming in this truth that sincerely want to know the Lord with a pure and a contrary heart. Right? Certain brothers that come out here, they just want to read mighty, teach mighty, and then that's it. They got no works. After camp, they don't do no food drives. Right? They got no other fruits to bear up treasures in heaven. Right? But brothers just want to have that cloud and be mighty. But the Lord is really coming back for the person that sincerely care and love about it. Right. So bring this out.
It's the book of 1 Peter, chapter 1, verse number 3.
Right.
Blessed be the God and Father of our Lord, Yahweh Mashiach,
Right.
which according to his abundant mercy, which according to his abundant mercy, hath begotten us again unto a lively hope by the resurrection of Yahweh Mashiach from the dead.
Jump to verse 5.
Verse 5.
No.
Who are kept by the power of God through faith unto salvation, ready to be revealed in the last time.
Right.
Wherein ye greatly rejoice, do now for a season, if need be.
That might be 2 Peter chapter 1 and verse 5. Right, but bring that out in Galatians.
This book of Galatians, chapter 5 and verse 22. Right. But the fruit of the Spirit.
But the what?
But the fruit of the Spirit.
But the fruit of the Spirit, right, read.
Is love.
What?
Is love.
The Lord said the fruit of the Spirit is love. Hold that. Give me the book of 2 Samuel chapter 18 and verse 1. All right, if any brother got it. All right, give me 2 Samuel 18 and verse 1. So the first fruit is love. Give me, hold that. Give me Leviticus chapter 19 and verse 17 in class. Right, so the Lord said that the fruit of the Spirit is love. What? You got a question, brother? What's up?
Hebrews 8 and 8.
Hebrews 8 and 8? Which one look like Hebrews 8 and 8?
Please Hebrews.
All right, come. So bring this up.
This book of Leviticus, chapter 19 and verse 17. Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thy heart.
What the Lord said?
Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thy heart.
Right, and this is the milk. So the milk essentially is what's going to get brothers saved in the last days. The Lord said, don't hate thy brother in thy heart. Now, what if you out, you shaking their hand, you bringing out the words, you reading, making 1,000 videos, right? You making 1,000 garments for the sisters, hey, but you got hate in your heart. The Lord is not coming back for the man with the hate and the envy that's built up in him. The Lord's coming back for the man that's meek, that's humble, that's sincere. Slacking. Right, hold that. As a matter of fact, we got to do something now. But bring this up.
Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor.
Thou shalt what?
Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor.
So a part of love is rebuking your neighbor. Whether that's on the streets, behind closed doors, right? The Lord said love is rebuking your neighbor. So in the last days, brothers, sisters have brothers going off. If I'm not rebuking that brother, essentially I'm going off. Right. And the Lord's going to kill that man that's not getting the blood off his brother's hands and off his own hands.
Right.
Why? Because Give me, hold that, give me Genesis 4 and 6. I got a couple precepts, but give me Genesis 4 and verse number 6. Sorry, 4 and verse 9. Right, because essentially we are our brother's keepers. So if we not holding each other to that high standard, that high estate, and we just letting each other slip and fall, and we not bearing each other burdens, essentially the Lord is going to do away with us.
Right.
So bring this up.
It's the book of Genesis, chapter 4, verse number 6.
Go.
And the Lord said unto Cain, why art thou wroth? And why is thy countenance fallen?
Right, because Cain killed his brother Abel. When you read that chapter, Cain, he backdoored Abel. Right, we don't?
If thou doest well, shalt thou not be accepted?
Right.
And if thou doest not well, sin lieth at the door.
Verse 9.
Verse 9. The Lord said unto Cain, where is Abel thy brother?
Right, so now the Lord kind of checked Cain and said, hey, where's Abel your brother at? That's what Cain said.
And he said, I know not. Am I my brother's keeper?
Hey, 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Real quick, 2 minutes for the Lord. Right, read that again.
He said, I know not. Am I my brother's keeper?
Am I what?
Am I my brother's keeper?
Right, so Cain said, hey, am I my brother's keeper? Now, yes, we are our brother's keeper. That's a rhetorical question. That answer is yes. We are our brother's keepers. So therefore, if I'm just letting the brother slip, right, the brother slipping, he's falling, he can't get up, and I'm just watching him. How you doing, King? How y'all brothers doing? All right, what's y'all nationality? Y'all nationality? Mexican? How about you? You Mexican too? Now, do y'all believe in the Bible? Do y'all believe in the Bible? Definitely. Now, the Bible, would you agree that the Bible is a history book? Not just religion, but history as well. Or you read about certain kings, Alexander the Great, King Nebuchadnezzar, etc. Now, the Bible is history book. Knowing that, where's your history written up in the Bible? Because when you read the Bible, I mean, it covers every nation history.
Right.
You got the side down here, brother. Turn this around real quick. So we read in the Bible, you see all these names. Wow. Right, so you read about all these names in the Bible. Right, you got the Ammonites, you got the Moabites, right, you got the Edomites, the Israelites, the Egyptians, etc. All those names are written up in the Bible. Because the Lord created how many nations? 18. Within 18 nations, he has one chosen race. Now, knowing that he has one chosen race, but he has 17 other races, which race do y'all come from? Spanish? Well, I want to say Spanish. That's where the Spaniards come from, so-called white men, who actually conquered y'all in the 1400s.
Right.
So what? North Americans? No, that's ain't North Africans. I don't think y'all North Africans now. Now, knowing that, we're gonna try to identify the so-called Mexicans in the Bible. Give me Genesis 49 verse 14. Give me 1 Corinthians chapter 12 and verse 32. Right, because you guys' history is actually written up in the Bible. That's the secret that we're gonna bring out to y'all. But it's a problem. The word Mexican is not written up in the Bible.
Right.
Hispanic is not in the Bible. Latino is not in the Bible. So if these labels is not in the Bible, I mean, who are you? I mean, are we gonna call ourselves what man called us? Last time I checked, man called you Latino. Man called you Mexicans, right? Man called you Hispanic. But what did the Lord call you? That's the real question. That's the question we should want. What did the Lord call you? All right, bring this out.
It's the book of Genesis, chapter 49, verse 14.
Oh.
Issachar is a strong ass.
What is Issachar?
Issachar is a strong ass.
Now, so-called Mexicans, y'all symbol down there in Mexico is a what? What'd you say? Now, down there in Mexico, y'all have a certain animal that y'all symbolize for hard work and strength and hiring. What animal is that?
I think it's an eagle, right? Yeah, the
No,
eagle. No, it's not the eagle.
It's not an eagle. That's the Spaniards. The Spaniards is the eagle.
It's in the flag.
Right. It's in whose flag? The Spaniards' flag when they came to conquer y'all.
Not but in the Mexican flag, there's a flag.
But y'all got it from who? The Spaniards. Now, it's not the eagle. It's actually something called the burro or the donkey. The donkey. Right. So we actually go into the Bible. Read that again real quick.
Issachar is a strong ass.
It said Issachar is a strong ass. An ass is a donkey. Again, now, a lot of people, when they try to label so-called Mexicans, they say, man, man, I'm working so hard, I work like a Mexican. Now, so-called Mexicans or Issacharites, they be compared to as donkeys, because donkeys are also hardworking animals. Right down there in Mexico, they bear all the burdens on the donkey, and the donkey just walk for miles and miles. It's a working animal. The Lord compared y'all to that. But the Lord, he didn't say Mexicans, he said Issachar. Right, read on.
Crouching down between two burdens.
Right.
And he saw that rest was good.
So he said the Mexicans crouched down between two burdens. Now, when you look at the map, you see Mexico is between two landmasses. You got North America, you got Mexico, and you got what? South America.
Right.
So he said Issachar is a strong ass, crouching down between two burdens. One, he just compared y'all to a donkey, which is a hard-working animal, and he said that y'all are between two burdens, two landmasses. Right, read on.
And the land that it was pleasant,
Right, in the land that it was pleasant, because around the time when King Solomon Nassar came, and he threw y'all and put y'all in captivity under the Syrians, right? Y'all, give me a second, Address 13 to 40. Right, y'all actually made a decree to leave that land and to come to the Americas. So y'all found this land. He said rest was good, right? That's history on another day, right? But read.
and bowed his shoulders to bear.
Bowed his shoulder to bear. And again, it's talking about the so-called Mexicans. That's how y'all came over here. Y'all seen that this land was good. Y'all bowed y'all shoulder to bear it. Now, have you heard of something called the Mayan calendar?
Yeah.
You have. What you heard about it? At school?
Yeah, it's cool.
Well, actually, we going to it. The Mayans, they go back to the so-called Mexicans. They was good at reading the constellation and the stars. Did they teach you that in school too? The Mayans, they was good at reading stars and exactly. So somewhere like that. Now we go into the Bible as one nation. Within that nation is a tribe that's also known for reading stars, reading different constellations as well. You gonna read that? You got that in First Chronicles? Yeah, First Chronicles 12 and 32. Or you need First Chronicles chapter 12 verse 32. Because it's also the so-called Mexicans in the Bible, they learned the same thing. Let's bring this up.
It's the book of First Chronicles, chapter 12, verse 32. And of the children of Issachar.
Who?
And of the children of Issachar,
The children of Issachar, so-called Mexicans. Read.
which were men that had understanding of the time.
It said men had understanding of the times. What is the times? The heavens, the constellations, the stars, the sun, and the moon. Now let's see why they had to understand.
To know what Israel ought to do.
So what?
To know what Israel ought to do.
And they literally will look at the stars and the constellations, and they would know, all right, this time it's time for us to go to war. It's time for us to take down these certain nations. Why? Because the Lord, he gave y'all that gift. And y'all displayed that gift when y'all came to the Americas by looking at the stars, the different constellations, etc. Now give me the book of, you still got that in Genesis 49? Come on, finish that up.
And became a servant unto tribute.
Y'all became a servant under tribute. Why did y'all become a servant under tribute? Because the so-called white man, he came and he swept y'all under, and he literally took over that land of Mexico, and now a so-called white man owns that land. He got something called I forgot the term, right? But y'all don't run Mexico. So what? Yeah, comiendas. Right now y'all in the comiendas, in the fields, etc. Y'all got literally took into captivity and became servant under tribute. That's going into the Mexican history. Now let's get Deuteronomy 28. Now the Mexicans, would you say that the Mexicans are a cursed people? Well, let me put it like this. The Mexicans, would you say in society that y'all on the top or the bottom? The bottom. Now why is that?
But not really like equal. Does that make sense?
Right, I mean we're not, but it has to be a reason. All right, like you said, you believe in the Bible. The Bible should have these answers of why these certain race of people that you look on this side, you see on the sun around, right? It should be why an explanation why these people on this side is at the bottom. You got the so-called Black Americans, the West Indies. When you go down, you see Issachar, the so-called Mexicans. Right, what is that? Right here.
Aztecs.
Right, the Aztecs, the Incas, Aztecs. Now you read about those people in the Bible, but again, it's not under Mexican, it's under the word Issachar. That's your nationality. An Israelite from the tribe of Issachar. Now we're gonna read about why the Issacharites or the Mexicans is at the bottom. Bring it out, verse 15.
It's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter chapter 28, verse 16. Cursed shalt thou be in the city.
Read that again.
Cursed shalt thou be in the city.
So the Lord said the so-called Mexicans will be cursed in the cities. Like you said, you don't feel like we're on top, but we're at the bottom.
Right.
I mean, by default, you have to fit that. If you go into the cities, you go downtown, you go in these high rises, you're not going to see a whole bunch of Mexicans just living there, just sitting back, just kicking it up. No, you're going to find out people were in the ghettos, in the slums, etc.
Right.
Because the Lord said, cursed shall we be in the cities. You know?
And cursed shalt thou be in the field.
And what?
And cursed shalt thou be in the field.
And cursed shall we be in the field. That go back to the comiendas, the slave fields, right? Y'all gathering corn for the Spaniards, etc. Lord said, cursed shall we be in the field. Now, doesn't that fit your people being cursed in the field, cursed in the cities? Now, can a white man just read that and say, man, you know, I kind of relate to that. My people, they is in the ghettos and in the slums. Can a white man read that and say, that's me? No, he can't. Why? Because he's the one that's prospering in society.
Right.
According to this, God's people is in the fields, and they're at the bottom. Right, give me verse 54.
Verse 54.
Get out.
So that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eyes shall be evil towards his brother.
So the Lord said the man that's tender among you, that used to be cool with you back then, now his eyes evil towards you. What? Now, would you say so-called Mexicans as a whole have an evil eye toward each other? With the gang banging, the gang violence, etc. They're trying to get down on the so-called black man, the black man trying to get down on the so-called Mexicans. Y'all selling drugs to each other. Y'all jumping each other in school. We jumping each other in the schools. You know what I'm saying? I mean, these things happen on an everyday basis. The Lord said our eyes going to be evil toward each other.
Right.
Now again, can an Asian man read that? Can an Asian man or an East Indian man, can he read that and say, hey, that sound like my people? No, we do got evil eye towards each other. No, when you read that, you think about so-called blacks and Hispanics. Again, because the Lord is only talking to one group of people. All right, read on.
And toward the wife of his bosom, and toward the raiment of his children, which he shall leave.
Now, did you grow up with your father in the household? Did you grow up with your father in the household? You did. How about you? You grew up with your father in the house? Well, that's a blessing. A lot of brothers, they didn't grow up with their fathers in the household. Right, so that's a blessing. But nevertheless, that's a curse put on so-called blacks and Hispanics that our fathers wouldn't be in our house.
Right.
And you see that today. A lot of so-called black people, they grow up without their fathers. I know a couple brothers, so-called Mexicans, so-called Hispanics, right? They grew up without their fathers in the house. Their fathers probably dead, in jail, locked up, or probably just got up and just left because they didn't want to take that responsibility of being a father.
Right.
Again, these curses fit who? Our people. No other nation on this side can read that and say, yeah, that fit me. Right? Oh, yeah, oh, man, I'm an East Indian. My father left me, I fit that. No, that only fits us. Right now, give me the book of Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 68. Right? Deuteronomy 28, 68. Give me Deuteronomy 7 and verse 14 and 2. Deuteronomy 14 and 2.
It's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 68.
Right.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again.
The Lord said he's going to bring us back into Egypt. Now, Egypt is a word for slavery or captivity. Right, to sum it up. Egypt means slavery. Now, how did the so-called Mexicans get from Mexico to Spain? Because again, the so-called conquistadors, they came to Mexico, they took y'all up, and they shipped y'all to Spain to be slaves. Have you heard that history? Have you heard that history? Right now you have. Now, what transportation did they use to take y'all back to Spain and Egypt? Boats. Let's read that again from the top.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again.
So the Lord's going to bring you back into slavery again. With what?
With ships.
With what?
With ships.
Read that again.
With ships.
So it's already written from old that the Lord is going to bring the so-called Mexicans back into slavery or Egypt again with ships.
Right.
Now that's undeniable proof. We just went through like 3 quick curses and it all fits to the so-called Mexicans, so-called blacks, so-called Hispanics and Native Americans.
Right.
Now again, you don't find the word Mexican written up in the Bible. So if you're not a Mexican, but the Lord, give me Deuteronomy 29 and verse 1. If the Lord is not, it's like if the Lord is talking to the Mexicans, but he's not using the word Mexican, Hispanic, Latino, etc., then what's your name? Let's read it.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 29, verse 1.
Yo.
These are the words of the covenant.
These are the words of the covenant. Read on.
which the Lord commanded Moses
Right.
to make with the children of Israel.
Make with who?
The children of Israel.
Read that again.
The children of Israel.
So according to the Bible, all these words that we just read, who's the Lord talking to? The children of Israel. That's simple. So all the curses that we went through the slave ships, us being in the ghettos, we went through the Mayan calendar, how our people and your people, right? They looked at the stars and matched it up, how it matches up with the Bible. Right? We went through y'all being in the burden. It's like in the midst between two burdens, and now all fits back to your people.
Right.
But the Lord called y'all the Israelites. So according to the Bible, what's your nationality? It's what? That's right. It's an Israelite.
Right.
Right? That's your nationality, the Israelites. Because again, we don't go by what man called us. We go by what the Lord called us. And if you look on this sign, Israel is at the top. I'll give you Deuteronomy 76 or 42. Read this out.
It's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 14 and verse 2.
We're going to read about what the Lord said about the Israelites. Read this.
For thou art a holy people.
For what?
For thou art a holy people.
What are the Israelites?
For thou art a holy people.
The Lord said the Israelites are a holy people. Right? Read.
Unto the Lord thy God.
Right.
And the Lord hath chosen thee to be a peculiar people unto himself.
So the Lord, he chose us. He chose y'all to be a peculiar people unto himself. Again, you got all these different tribes. When you look at all these tribes right here, I mean, won't you say that these people dominated everything? They got the so-called Black American. People say we dominate in basketball, football, etc. Got the so-called Mexicans, y'all dominating in soccer, or Hispanics, the Cubans, y'all dominating in soccer, baseball, right? All these different sports. Why? Because the Lord, he chose us.
Right.
Now, can a so-called white woman cook better than your grandma? Why? Because your grandma, she's chosen. The Lord gave her that spirit and that gift to kind of whip up that thing kind of decent. The Lord didn't get a so-called white man the gift to make food. We're just gonna be real. I mean, they don't season. Let's be real. You said what?
They might just put salt.
Right, literally.
They don't even know how to put the right amount of salt.
Right, see that? They don't even know how to put the right amount of salt. What's up? You gotta go?
Yeah, we gotta go.
All right, real quick before you leave, what's your nationality? What's your nationality before you leave? The brother already got, he been on fire. But you been kind of quiet in the back. So I'm saying, gotta put you on the spot. What's your nationality before you leave?
Israel.
It's what?
Israel.
That's right. That's right. You're an Israelite, but that's right. Give me Deuteronomy chapter 14 and verse 10. 10 and verse 12. Deuteronomy chapter 10 and 12. We're gonna give you like 2 more. Right, 3 more. Right, real quick.
It's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 10 and verse 12.
Yo.
And now Israel.
And now who?
And now Israel.
That again?
And now
Now
Israel.
who's Israel? Us. That's right. It says it's now Israel. So now the Lord is talking to you guys. And now Israel, read.
What do the Lord thy God require of thee?
He said, now Israel, what does the Lord require of you? So now that you know that you Israel, you come from the chosen seed line, the Lord requires something of you. He needs you to pay up some. Let's see what that is.
But to fear the Lord thy God.
So knowing that you Israel, you got to fear God. Right? Everybody say, I fear God, I do this, etc. But the Lord said, knowing that you Israel, you have to fear the Lord. You know?
To walk in all his ways.
You got to walk in his ways. You know?
And to love him.
To what?
And to love him.
You have to love the Lord. Now, how do you love the Lord? We don't.
And to serve the Lord thy God with all thine heart and with all thy soul.
Right?
To keep the commandments of the Lord.
To do what?
To keep the commandments of the Lord.
What is loving the Lord?
To keep the commandments of the Lord.
What is obeying the Lord?
To keep the commandments of the Lord.
So now you have to keep the commandments of the Lord. Knowing that you Israel, you got to pay up something that you haven't paid up all this time. It's the love of the Lord. It's the keeping of his law. Now, real quick, we're going to just give y'all a couple laws, statutes, and commandments. Probably about 3. Let's start off with Leviticus 11. Because again, the Lord just said, if you love me, keep my commandments. That's plain and simple. So, knowing that you love the Lord, you know you Israel, we're going to give you 3 quick commandments, and we're going to set you on your way. All right, read that.
It's the book of Leviticus, chapter 11 and verse 7.
Yo.
And the swine.
And the what?
And the swine.
You know what swine is? You know what swine is? Swine, y'all ever heard of swine? Swine is pork, the pig. The pig, the pork, that's swine. Yeah, swine, that's pig. Now let's see what the Lord said about the pork. Now, first of all, do y'all eat pork? You eat pork? It's kind of good. It's kind of good. Let's read this.
Though he divided the hoof and be cloven-footed,
So the Lord said, though it may look like a clean animal, they look decent. Read on.
yet he choose not to cut. He is unclean to you.
He is what?
He is unclean to you.
So even though the pork, it may look good, it may taste good, it may smell good, the Lord said it's unclean unto you. Now, surely he would know. He created the pig. Just like how, man, nowadays they might create a broom. And you might scrub the floor with it, etc. But does that mean just because you scrub the floor with it, and it's used for something good, does that mean you can just do whatever you want with it? No. The Lord, he created a pig for a certain reason. That was to clean the filth of the earth. Meaning what? If you clean up the earth, then by default you have to be some type of vile, disgusting creature. Like a broom. It cleans. So just because it cleans the ground, that doesn't make it a clean thing.
Salakia.
Just like
Some of these cartels get rid of the bodies with the pigs.
see that? So down there in Mexico, if they want to get rid of a body, they use a pig. Showing you how unclean a pig is. Read that again.
He is unclean to you.
So the pig is unclean, like the brother just said. The pig, they use pigs to clean up murder cases. That just lets you know how disgusting it is. Now read.
Of their flesh shall ye not eat,
So the pig flesh you can't eat. Read on.
and their carcass shall ye not touch.
Lord don't even want you touching the pig. Read.
They are unclean to you.
So knowing that, would you stop eating pork for the Lord? He says, unclean, it's abomination, don't eat it. For the Lord. He said, what? He said, yeah. How about you? You kind of quiet. You just got quiet on the Lord. He was on fire, then you just, what happened? For the Lord? He said, yeah,
That's for the Lord.
for the Lord, okay. All praise. Because again, look, you got plenty of meats.
Right.
You got chicken, right? You got steak, you got lamb, you got deer, you got bison, you got all these clean meats. The Lord just said, just don't mess with the pig.
Right.
Let the pig do it and clean up the filth of the earth, and you continue to be a holy vessel. That's simple, right? Read on.
Verse 9.
Right.
These shall ye eat of all that are in the waters.
So now it's about to go into the things that we can eat in the waters.
Right.
Read.
Whatsoever hath fins and scales in the waters, in the seas, and in the rivers, them shall ye eat.
So the Lord said, whatever come out the waters that got fins and scales, you can eat.
Right.
Now, what's some things that come out the water that has fins and scales together? Fish. So the Lord said we can eat fish. Now, is that hard? Now, that's saying you have to eat it. But if you did want to eat something that came out the water, it's gonna have fins and scales. So let's read on.
What came out the water?
And all that have not fins and scales
All that have not fins and scales, let's see what the Lord said.
in the seas and in the rivers, of all that move in the waters, and of any living thing which is in the waters, they shall be an abomination unto you.
So everything that doesn't have fins and scales is going to be an abomination unto you. The Lord said, don't deal with it.
Right.
Same thing with the pig. Don't deal with it. It does its thing. Let him do him. Let him clean the earth. It's filthy. Don't touch it. Whatever that's in the waters that doesn't have fins and scales is there for a purpose. It's to clean the bottom, to clean out the, it cleans the waters. There's certain fish, the squid, the shark, all these fish and different creatures in the water that don't got fins and scales, they got their purpose. The Lord said, don't deal with it, don't eat it.
Right.
You can only eat the fish that got what? Scales in and fins. So that's plain. So can you do that? Now, does that mean you can eat shrimp? Or not?
Got scales.
Right, don't got scales and fins. What about, let's see. What about crab? You kind of went to Red Lobster, you know what I'm saying? Kind of went to Red Lobster. And you looking at the crab in the tank. You just start lusting over, man, that is, you know what I'm saying? That is a big crab, you know. Are you going to eat that crab if they just say, you know, this crab right here, we're going to give it to you, and we're going to put half off? As a matter of fact, it's free. You're going to say, no, why not? It's free.
Got scales.
Right, because they don't got scales or fins.
Right.
Right, also because the Lord said not to. Now, what about you? You don't eat the free. I mean, it's free. Why not? Why not? They don't got scales or fins.
Right.
Right, the Lord said don't do it, so don't do it. It's that simple. All right, now we're going to give y'all one more commandment. Give me the book. Let's see what I want. We're in a rush. All right, the brother right there, he going to give you a flyer. Y'all brothers stay smooth. All right, no problem, no problem. All praise to the Most High. Y'all get on safe, man. Y'all brothers get on safe.
This right here is like a little starter pack. These are just
Go back to Galatians chapter 5. As a matter of fact, go back to I think we finished that up on Leviticus 19. You can read on. Finish back up with Galatians 5th chapter.
Galatians chapter 5 and verse 22.
Bring it out.
But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, long suffering.
I can read that again slow.
But the fruit of the Spirit is love,
It's love.
joy, peace, long suffering.
So long suffering again. These things are the fruits of the Spirit. If you don't have these things, the Lord is not dealing with you.
Right.
I mean, because again, how are you going to enter into the kingdom, into everlasting life, right? You have hate in your heart. You have no joy in serving the Lord. You have no tempers, no long suffering. You get mad quick. Brother accidentally step on your shoe at pass, so we ready to just smite the brother. Right? Again, if you don't got these certain gifts, the milk, essentially, if you don't got the milk, you're not getting into the kingdom.
Right.
Because a lot of brothers, they focus on the meat, the bread. They want to just be that deep, dark brother. You know, all the in-depth parables and all the breakdowns. But the Lord is not looking for that brother that's just high-minded and puffed up. He's looking for the brother that's meek, lowly, right, humble, etc. Now read this. Finish off on this.
Gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, temperance. Against such there is no law.
Against what?
Against such there is no law.
Right now, bring this. He said, against such there is no law. Right, and we're having the fruits of the Spirit. It's not just about knowing about it, but it's about applying it. Right, you got certain men, they know the precepts. You got other men, they apply the precepts. That's the difference between knowing it and applying it.
Right.
It's the difference between calling 1,000 precepts, but behind closed doors, you're doing God knows what.
Right.
But then you got the brother at the crib, he's actually learning about, hey brother, you got 2 minutes?
Brother.
2 minutes. Right, how y'all brothers doing? Y'all got 2 minutes for the Lord? 2 minutes, check it out, 2 minutes. Dos minutos. Dos minutos. Yeah, see, they have no good or no Spanish, see that? I read this.
This is the book of 2 Peter, chapter 1 and verse 2.
Right.
Grace and peace be multiplied unto you through the knowledge of God and of Yahushua our Lord, according as his divine power hath given unto us all things that pertain unto life and godliness through the knowledge of him that have called us to glorify and virtue.
Hold on, read that last part again. That gave us all things and what? Start that last verse you read from the top.
That last verse in the top? Come. Through the knowledge of him
Through the knowledge of the Lord,
that have called us to glorify and virtue. To call us to glory and virtue, whereby are given unto us exceedingly great and precious promises.
Right.
That by these ye might be partakers of the divine nature, having escaped the corruption that is in the world through lust.
So by these things right here, the Lord is about to give you a little bit of game. Right? If you want the kingdom of heaven, if you want everlasting life, the Lord about to give you some tips. All right, read on.
And beside this, giving all diligence.
Giving what?
Giving all diligence.
Slothfulness.
Giving all diligence.
So if you want the kingdom, the Lord said giving all diligence. Right? Read.
Add to your faith virtue.
So the Lord, so we have diligence, you have to add unto that. Right? With diligence come faith. Right? Because with repetition, you start to get used with it. And that faith start building up. All right, read on.
And to virtue, knowledge.
And to virtue knowledge. Because after you start building up that diligence, you got the faith, you got the virtue, you know how to discern different things. The Lord, he starts supping with you. And next thing you know, you got knowledge.
Right.
Right? You went from having just, you know what I'm saying, just a couple precepts. Now you know how to apply the precepts. Why? Because the Lord gave you that knowledge to do that. Right? Read.
and to knowledge, temperance.
It's a knowledge temperance. We was just talking about that in relation to the 5th chapter. Man, temperance is important in the last days, right? Because in all things you have to have temperance, right? With your household, right? With your brothers, right? With Jake in the world, and all things have temperance. Why? Because the Lord, He has temperance with us. Right? Every day, man goes off and drinking liquor. Give me that in the book of Job. I believe I want chapter. Let me see what I want. Job chapter. It might be. As a matter of fact, we can drop it. All right, but bring this up. Finish on this.
Verse 6.
Nope.
And to knowledge, temperance.
Right.
And to temperance, patience.
Right.
And to patience, godliness.
And to patience, godliness. You know?
And to godliness, brotherly kindness.
And to godliness, brotherly kindness. Give me Hebrews 13:1. Right, let's get the book of Hebrews, chapter 13 and verse 1. Because again, the milk is what's going to essentially save brothers in the last days. So it's important that brothers always go over the milk. Right? You can't never get enough of the milk.
Right.
Right, read this. Book of Hebrews, chapter 13 and verse number 1.
This book of Hebrews, chapter 13 and verse 1. Let brotherly love continue.
That again?
Let brotherly love continue.
The Lord said, let brotherly love continue.
Right.
Right, give me the book. Hold that. Give me 2 Samuel 18:1. Or it's like the 1 Samuel 18:1. I believe that's what I want. Right, 1 Samuel 18:1. The Lord said, let brotherly love continue. And again, hey, that's a commandment. Just because it's not in the first 5 books, don't mean no. I mean, it's not in the first 5 books, so I ain't got to do it.
Right.
No, the Lord said, let brotherly love continue.
Right.
Why? Because you got to have that spirit of Yahweh Shah. Yahweh Shah love the church. And so how much more are we supposed to love the church? Right, read this. You know,
Be not forgetful to entertain strangers.
the Lord said, be not forgetful to entertain strangers. Who are strangers? The strange or the castaway of our own people. The Lord said, hey, don't be forgetful to entertain them. Or you might see a poor man, you just walking, the brother got on fringes, and he poor. Right? The Lord said, hey, entertain him. You might give him a few dollars.
Right.
Right, give me the whole thing, give me Tobit chapter 12 and verse number, give me Tobit 4 and verse number 6. Right? Because again, it's important that we entertain our people in righteousness. Right? It's important that we give our people the attention that they need on the right hand side, which is what? The words of life, the wisdom, the knowledge, the understanding, the milk. Right, read on.
For thereby some have entertained angels unaware.
They said for some have entertained angels unaware. Right, so you might see a poor man, you just walk past him. You see he got the fringes on, you got the belt on his face, right? But you just walk past him, and you got $100 in your pocket, all 20s. Right, all 20s, you got a couple 10s, got a couple 1s. So you got something to spare, but yet you just see him, you just walk past. All the time that was an angel. Then you thinking, man, you know what? I might just give him $10. And you turn around and he's not there no more. Because the Lord already called him back up to the 3rd heaven because you didn't do what you're supposed to do.
Right.
How you doing, sis? You got 2 minutes. Real quick, just 2 minutes. Just three verses. 3 Bible verses. Right? Oh, see that? That's crazy.
It's the book of Tobit, chapter 4, verse 6.
Yo.
For if thou deal truly, thy doing shall prosperously succeed to thee,
Right.
and to all them that live justly.
Right.
7.
Verse 7.
Nope.
Give alms of thy substance.
Read that again.
Give alms of thy substance.
The Lord said, give alms of thy substance. So whatever you got that you can spare, go ahead and spare it. Right, go ahead and lend it to the poor. Lend it to the poor, your people. Right, go ahead and put it to good use. Don't just keep it buried up in your pocket and you just being stingy with it. Right, read on.
And when thou givest alms, let not thine eye be envious,
Right.
neither turn thy face from any poor, and the face of God shall not be turned away from thee.
So the Lord said, if you see that poor man, hey, just throw him a little something. Don't turn your face away from him. Again, we just read that in Hebrews 13. Don't be forgetful to entertain strangers. So the Lord said, hey, if you throw a little something to him, hey, the Lord might throw a little something to you. All right, read that again.
Let not thine eye be envious, neither turn thy face from any poor, and the face of God shall not be turned away from thee.
Right?
If thou hast abundance, give alms accordingly.
So if you got abundance, give alms accordingly. Right, again, that's the fruits of the spirit, that's the milk. A lot of brothers, they just read over that. But that's alms, what I was just told. Right, that was back in ancient where they gave alms. But no, the Lord is looking for the man that sincerely cares about his people, who's out here giving the alms to the poor. Right, they, at the camp, they might drive past a poor person, might give them a couple dollars, and again, and then they just keep it pushing. Just showing that brotherly love, that compassion towards one another. Right, read on.
If thou have but a little, be not afraid to give according to that little.
Right, so even if you got a little, don't be afraid to just throw a little, you know what I'm saying? If you got $5, hey, split that. Right, make sure you breaking bread with the brother. And the Lord is about breaking bread and righteousness. Right, the Lord is not a stingy man that just want to